All right. Hello, everyone. Lewis, hey, first one up in the channel. Awesome. Sorry about that little technical difficulty. Needed to, or well, look, it's still not even on. I just turned on my eCam light. It's not coming on. A little dark in here. Sorry about that. I don't know why that. I just fixed it. I spent like the extra time fixing it, and now it's still not even on. Anyway, let's get in this. For those that found me on Twitter, Pinkery, X, whatever, I'm on a crusade. Oh, there we go. Light just came on. Hello. I'm on a crusade. I've always been a bit annoyed with Mockery. Love Mockery, first of all. Sorry. Love Mockery. Use it forever. De facto Mockery or mocking library in PHP, in my opinion. I know PHP unit has some stuff built in. I know there's some other stuff out there. But Mockery is it. I love the API. I love the flow. I love the feel. But over the years, as other things around Mockery have kind of improved and modernized, there are parts of Mockery that feel very old. And I think they could use just a bit of polish, right? We just need to polish them up. It's great. Again, great underneath, just needs a little polish. So the main area that kind of annoys me are the error messages. I can demo one here in a second as we get into it, but what we need to do first is, of course, pull down this code. So I want to contribute to Mockery. I want to get this going. So let's do git clone. Let's just clone Mockery down. Actually, you know what? We can't commit directly to Mockery. Duh. Let's fork this sucker. All right, so we're gonna fork that. What do you mean? I'm the owner. Oh, I already exist. Okay, cool. View existing forks. Oh wow, that is completely not helpful. All right, let's do Jason McCreary then. Not Mockery forks. Look, I already have mine. All right, we can change upstream, I think, here in a second. Let's just go ahead and use their button to sync fork. There we go. All right, cool. So let's get my Mockery instead. So let's do rf Mockery, and let's clone that again for ease to be mine. And then we'll add Mockeries as upstream. While we're waiting for all that in the background, again, we need to make sure, do they have any like contributing notes? Contributing. There we go. They've got like a contributing file. Let's make sure we're following kind of what they want us to do here. So we'd love to help out. Feature contributing, loosely follow that. Fork the repository. Add as a feature. Do they have like a main branch? Targeting branch. Mockery has several active branches. Get branch model. If you're developing a new feature, you'll want to target the master branch. Okay, so we target the master branch. This is a new feature. Okay, so cd Mockery. That's our stuff. What we need to do is git remote add upstream. I like to make an upstream copy. That way I can, again, we synced through GitHub, but I just like making sure that I have everything we need from Mockery. So we can do git fetch upstream. This should pull down a whole bunch of stuff. And then we're going to do git checkout -b modern messaging. It's a bit of an ego, a bit of a chest bump there, but we can change the name later. Again, I don't mean to be I don't mean to, you know, go against Mockery or badmouth it in any way. Oops, let's see here. Git checkout -b upstream master. Did I not call it upstream? Oh, they call it main. Sorry, they've got some old wording there. Upstream main. There we go. Do they use main? Is main a real branch, or is it? See, 1.6 is their main branch. This is confusing. I think their changelog is a little outdated. Let's look at their branches. Our main and oh, okay. So this is way behind. All this stuff's wrong. See, this is why you got to go through the stuff here. Okay, so let's do git reset --hard upstream 1. What was it? 16? Do they have a develop branch? Like, what are their branches? 1.16.x. Okay, 1.16.x. Is that not right? Oh, 1.6. Sorry, I can't read today. There we go. Okay, cool. We should match their stuff now. So let's go here. C829. C829. Okay, that's us. I'm hearing a lot of chat. Is something broken? Let's see. What's going on here? Okay, let's see. Use 1.x branch. Okay, thank you. Old note. Mockery wouldn't. Main is there, but you. Okay, yeah. Thanks, In. You're all over it. All right, cool. Hey, Samuel, what's going on? Hey, Simon. Two Samuels. Hey, Samuel. All right. Okay, so let's get into PHP Stormsville now. And let's make a new project from existing files. And let's do my little GWD command. Pop that into place. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I like to keep these streams short, 20, 30 minutes. I think they're more digestible. I'm going to do more of these. Yeah, and I figured you were Ghostwriter. I knew it. All right, cool. Yeah, Ghostwriter as in this guy who just recently contributed to Mockery himself. So he knows what's going on. Use the 1.6 branch. Thank you. All right, cool. So, sorry, I presumed he. I don't know. They know what's going on. Okay, so let's get in here. There's an error message. Let me jump on Twitter. I don't want to have to recreate this error message with a bunch of Mockery. So let's just get into this. Here we go. This is it here. So no, this is the message. When you get into Mockery and an expectation fails or a mock fails or something happens with your mock where the expectation is not met, you get this very cryptic error message, right? It's very dense. It has the test class. It has the test case. And then you've got this no matching expectation exception being thrown, and then its message is no matching handler found for Mockery _0 _shift : command, the command that you ran. Either the method was unexpected or its arguments match no expected argument list for this method. This is dense. I use Mockery a lot. I've used Mockery in multiple languages. Not Mockery, this library, but I've used mocking in other languages. There's a more human way to say this. Much more human. You can say, expected shift command to be called, but was not, right? Expected or shift command was called with etc., but expected, y. Should be called with x, but called with y instead. I think there's all sorts of opportunities based on how your expectation was set up within Mockery, that Mockery has enough information. I presume it has enough information to be able to give you a better error message. I know Laravel does for things like, I talked about it on Twitter, but for things like assert database has, for example, we can just look at these screenshots I already did. Here's an example coming from the Laravel testing framework, which is built on top of Mockery, but they do some of their own kind of catching. And here's a prime example. Test case at the top, nice and separated, not in the mix of all the other noise. There's my test case that failed. Here's what failed in a human readable way. Failed asserting that a row in the table, releases table, matches the attributes, the stuff you said that it matched. But hey, we found a similar result that looks like this. Right here, there's information to tell me, do I have a type error? Do I have, what is wrong here that broke? Oh, version didn't match. Look at that. I can solve it all right here from the error message. That's a helpful error message, right? Now, I'm not saying Mockery can do this exactly for all cases, but I think it could for some. And it definitely could be better than, the super dense, what we just saw, where none of this is even spaced out. It's got these really deep underscored names that are internal to the system. And again, I've used Mockery enough to know why it says this. But after a decade of seeing this error, I think we can make it better, right? So that's the presumption of it all, right? And again, forgive me, but I know it can be better. So let's make it better. So let's go find this no matching expectation exception, see where it's thrown, and kind of try to understand today only. We probably won't write any code, but today maybe we can kind of understand the problem and understand maybe how Mockery's throwing this stuff and see what's available to us, right? See what we could do real quick. I think we could do everything I just talked about, but what can we do pretty quick, right? Okay, so we have this no matching exception being thrown. There's nothing special here necessarily, just a bunch of getters and setters. So this is really just a DTO exception class, really, right? It's just a holder object. Where is this thrown? Okay, it's thrown in mock. It's thrown in expectation director. And everywhere else that it's thrown, let's just open these. Everywhere else it seems to be thrown is in a test. Okay, so there's only 2 places in all of Mockery that throw this exception with this kind of error message that we want to improve. So that's not bad. I would have expected, like, 100 different places where this was thrown and it to be a lot of work. It's only in 2, right? So that's not too bad. Let's see here. Okay, so let's see where this is used. Okay, so here actually we're setting, look at that. One place we're actually setting that exact error message. What are we doing in this other place? Oops. Let's go down here. Oh, we only catch it here. Even better. So only in the expectation director is the only place in all of Mockery's code base where this huge noisy exception description is being output. So all of our code to make the world better can just go right here. If we can just figure out what's available to us at this point in the code base, then hey, we can actually get this. We might be able to do this pretty simply. I don't know. I don't want to jump ahead. And I believe that Mockery is a very technical library. It's got a lot of depth to it. So again, I'm being naive right now, but I think there's an opportunity to probably almost do everything right here. Maybe we might not be able to get the perfect Laravel kind of exception where we match up similar results, but we could definitely improve the error messaging here, obviously, because it's just a string. Okay, what is available to us? What is this expectation director doing, right? Okay, so there's no header necessarily describing what it's doing. Store an array of all the default expectations for this mock. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so store an array of all. Okay, so if this is true, if everything for the mock that had a failed expectation is available here, the defaults, the other expectations that are set, and therefore the arguments within them, then just like Laravel, that actually means that down here somewhere we could loop over those expectations to see if we found a similar one, which already gets us on a path of improving our error messages. So I think we're on the right track here. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good about this. Let's do this. Let's kind of map. Sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place because I want to have a failing test and prove that we get here. And I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do that without having to write a bunch of code. I've got all sorts of apps that use Mockery, but I'm just, in the back of my mind, I'm trying to think of one that maybe does some heavy mocking that I can mess with and get it to throw these exceptions. So yeah, that's what I was trying to do. We just go, okay, so okay, so in the shift code base, this is where this screenshot came from. So let's just go get in the shift code base. We'll dig down into this one point in code that we know. I'm not going to worry about changing Mockery directly today. Let's understand what's available to us, and we can let that simmer in our brain, for a couple days, and I could always do another stream tomorrow or Friday. So let's go into shift. Let's get out of our shell scripts. What was that called? Class property test. Class property test. And we have this, it streamlines get class if you, okay, so let's do it streamlines, there we go. Okay, so here we go. Old testing, so just a little backstory here. Old testing in Shift, I don't use the integration layer that Jess and I built. it still uses, again, heavy mockery. So I mock shift, and then I say all the things that it's supposed to do and mock that out so I can control the environment and don't need, this full-on Docker integration sail-like setup, right? I just hack it to do the thing I want, to test the thing I want in isolation. So much more of a unit style test, if you will. So the point is, look at all these expectations. If I go and kind of change the code, this is going to end up failing because, it's not going to make whatever call I said to make, and therefore trigger the mockery error. So let's go back to the shift code base, and let's do, this might run, this might not. I'm on the iMac. I normally work on my MacBook Pro. So let's just filter this. Okay, good. Here we go. We already have, it's just failing automatically because, again, this environment's probably not set up to run the test, which is why we moved to the integration layer, because this was all just very difficult. Okay, so what I want to do now is get down in that expectation director and let's just throw out some var dumps and see what's going on, right? I'm hearing the chat again. What's going on? Did I say something wrong? Blueprint is heavily mocked. Yeah, there you go. What made you move away from Mockery and push you up to make your own testing layer? Oh, yeah, exactly what I just said. Look at this code. Like, it's not really running, right? It's the same wavy of hands, spell checky stuff that Laravel, pushed years ago. Like, you're kind of not really running your application. There's a lot of pieces that you're missing in testing this way. That's not to say that mocking or unit testing doesn't have value. I think Laravel as a community pushed so hard the other way that they maybe for a little bit went too far. I think we're seeing kind of a balance now. But there's nothing wrong necessarily with testing this way. You just have to understand its, like anything, you have to understand its boundaries, its trade-offs. I can show a different one here in a bit, but I think for now, let's stay on point. Let me open up this expectations director. There it is. Okay. And all I want to do is right here where we throw this exception. I just want to understand this class a little bit better. So let's do this. Let's do just real, this is probably going to be a nasty dump, but let's just do this expectations. So what I want to see is what's in expectations. It just stores a list or an array of this expectation interface, right? We have this mock name. Let's see what that is too, just for giggles. What I'm trying to understand again is like, does this expectation director have everything we need, or am I going to have to go learn more about Mockery and like pass things into this or abstract a layer higher to kind of get the information I want? And we should map out the information I want, and maybe we'll end the stream with that. But for now, let's just do this. So let's run this again. We should get some crazy var dumps. Let's see how big we get. Okay, yeah, there's some stuff here. This is more than I thought. Okay, so let's pipe this through more so we can slow it down a little bit. Okay, so it's called, the name of this is called command. Oh. Okay. That's not what I thought. That's not what I thought this was. It has two other expectations for command. Interesting. Okay. Let's go back to our code and see if this is true. Do we do other stuff with it? We do. Command. Rector. We have command for PHP code beautifier. These are old. These are so old. I don't even think this part of shift runs anymore. Anyway, sorry, separately. Okay, I expected the mock to be shift, but the mock is actually a layer deeper. It's for the actual expectation itself, which now, of course, makes sense because it's the expectations director, not the mock director. So already we're learning more about Mockery. That makes sense. So that's still good enough, I think, because if you just blindly call something on shift that's not mocked, that's going to yield a different error message, which we could figure that out later. Okay. I'm still optimistic that this has what we need. And I bet if we scroll down, for example, let's just take a little snippet of this and search for it here. There we go, right here. So buried within the depths of that underlying expectation, we can see here that the args, right, for the method call are kind of all here. So higher up, if we look at, received calls, Mockery, there's information buried deep in this huge, I mean, there's even like a class reference. This is crazy. There's so much information deep inside of these expectation objects that we have at this layer. So we have everything we need here. This is proof enough for me. Let's go back to this. Let's end with kind of collecting our thoughts on what we want to do here. That way, for those watching, if you have any ideas or suggestions, please put them in the comments, Twitter, whatever. Ghostwriter, you might even PR this before I'm even done with these streams. You're crazy. Okay, let's lay this out. So let's say potential messages. All right, so potential improved messages, right? So the first one, I'm just trying to think of the different cases here that we would see. So the first one, and maybe this isn't necessarily done here based on what we know, but just to lay them all out and kind of wrap up today's stream of exploratory, where are we heading here? Let's say that a mock is called without an expectation, right? So what that means in the terms of this test is, let's say that, I mock all these things out, all paths, app namespace, command, all these methods that I'm supposed to be calling on shift. But I also call shift, whatever method. Well, I never set an expectation for that method, but I did attempt to call it in my underlying code. That probably throws some kind of exception, some kind of error message. I don't know if that's right here, but I do want to address that. Again, we want to make sure that all error messaging that's output when you're using Mockery in your tests are more human readable. It's not just this one message. Now, hopefully a majority of what we're outlining is right here, and I think that it is. But that one actually might be somewhere else based on what we just learned. This is at the expectation layer, not necessarily at the mock layer. That's a step higher. And again, the difference is this is the quote-unquote mock, and this is your expectation for a particular method, right? So it's two different layers. Okay, so again, that may or may not be done here. And so we say something like mock is not called for an expected method. Now we know that that's going to be here, right? As we're seeing in our own particular error. Let's clear this out and run this ourselves. Clear, oh, we're in more, sorry. So let's get rid of more and just dump this again. There we go. Okay, so we got rid of our var dumps. That's this right here. So we know that we can do this right here. Okay, mock is not called for an expected method. So we didn't call it the way we expected. Now there's some sub things that I'd like to do here, and that's really where I think the true polish is. The sub things I want to do here is that, does that expectation, it's more like because, ... Okay, so was the mock not called because, you have a couple options here. Was it truly not called? Did the arguments not match? Right? I don't know, maybe the arguments didn't match. So truly not called, you just straight up didn't call command when you said to call command. That's a nice human readable message. Did the arguments not match? Okay, then kind of a sub one of even that is, did we have similar calls, right? Because now we're getting kind of like in that Laravel land with the assert database has. Okay, arguments didn't match, but did command get called, but just with other arguments? If so, put those out, right? Or maybe even was called multiple times. We don't really know which one to compare it with. We know it was called 3 other times. You might want to check it, right? So again, Mockery has error messaging around all this. It's covered. Again, it's just a bit dense, and our goal is to make it better. I think if we can find and tackle these areas, we really cover kind of all of the different things that can happen when you set up a mock, which is it was never called, it was called but not for the thing we needed to be called, or it was called but it's sub-arguments or some attribute that you set, the number of times or the arguments or whatever, those didn't match that expectation. And again, I think all of this layer we have right here. We have it right here. I think we would need to prove this out and research that a bit, but I'm sure if we just go look at the expectations, so this is no matching expectation. Why is this not? Oh, it's on the other side. If we look here, runtime, invalid, order, invalid count, bad method call, exception. Is this because this is Mockery's version of a bad method call exception? That's probably more internal. I was looking for like a no matching mock exception or something. So we'll have to kind of explore this one. I'll probably do that off stream because again, a majority clearly from our comments here of what we want to work on is all defined and exists right here in this expectation director. I think it's really a matter of, at this point in time, before we throw this exception, we just kind of loop over, we turn this into pseudocode, we turn it into real code. Okay, we loop over, are there other expectations that were met? Are there defaults? Are there whatever? All the things that we were just kind of var dumping, we can loop through that and start to kind of systematically say, which one did you fall under? Because, answer the question of because. Because why? Why did you not, find an expectation that matched? Okay, because the arguments didn't match, or it wasn't called the number of times, or you truly never set one up. And then give them a human readable message here instead of just that. And we can control all that right here. There's no other place I think we're going to have to change the code. We just need another call here to set exception, message. This is all we need. We just need that. We need to fill that out. We put that right here and we throw this message here and everything else is great. So I think it's a very isolated change. It's just this is the magic. This is where the magic happens, right? So for a future stream, we'll do that. I'm going to keep researching. Of course, again, I welcome you to take a look too. So if you know Mockery in and out, or you want to get down in this part of the code and do some of your own, debugging, I welcome any feedback. Like I said, I'll probably stream this again to kind of keep going here. I want to fix this error message. I think anyone who has used Mockery and come across, the dense message here would love to see, if nothing else, just something a little more line breaks, a little more human, a little more pointed at what the error was. Even just the either here, either this or that, give me more direction, right? We should be able to know which one of those it was, right? Was it not called with the right arguments, or did it not exist? We should know that based on the other expectations. Like, there's enough information in this class to make this error message more pointed to help the developer go back and get that test passing, right? It's there. I think we can give it to them. So that's the mission. That's the crusade. We can get there. Help me out if you know. If not, we're going to stream and keep going next time. So thanks again. See y'all.